This game showcases Sarin's strategic depth, tactical acumen, and endgame technique. It also highlights the importance of pawn structure and the dangers of overly ambitious play in complex positions.
C4.
The English opening. This flexible first move allows white to steer the game into various structures. It controls the d5 square and prepares for a possible kingside fianchetto. Sarin, known for his versatile play, keeps his options open.
Knight f6.
A classical response. Black develops a piece and prepares to contest the center. This move allows for multiple setup options, including e6 Queen's Indian, g6 King's Indian, or e5 reverse Sicilian.
Knight c3.
White develops the knight to its most natural square, increasing control over d5 and preparing for potential d4 push. This move is consistent with many English opening plans.
e5.
A bold and committal move by Sadhwani. This leads to a reverse Sicilian structure, creating immediate tension in the center. Black stakes a claim in the center and prepares for a kingside attack.
Knight f3.
A logical response, developing another piece and challenging Black's central pawn. This move prepares for both d3 closed Sicilian structure or d4 open Sicilian structure.
Knight c6.
Black supports the e5 pawn and completes development on the king side. This move also prepares for a potential d5 push.
d3.
Sarin opts for a closed setup, reminiscent of a reverse closed Sicilian. This move supports e4, prepares a kingside fianchetto, and keeps the position relatively closed, which can lead to a strategic battle.
d5.
Sadhwani strikes in the center, taking advantage of white's somewhat passive setup. This move challenges white's control and opens lines for black's pieces.
C takes d5.
White releases the central tension. This exchange simplifies the position slightly, but allows white to develop more freely.
Knight takes d5.
A natural recapture, maintaining control of the center. The knight on d5 is well placed, controlling key central squares.
g3.
Sarin prepares to fianchetto the bishop, aiming for long-term pressure on the long diagonal. This move is consistent with the closed Sicilian setup white has adopted.
Bishop e7.
A solid move, developing the bishop to a safe square. Black prepares to castle and maintains flexibility in his kingside structure.
Knight takes d5.
An interesting decision by Sarin. He exchanges knights, simplifying the position slightly. This could be aimed at reducing Black's control over the center and avoiding potential tactical shots involving the d5 knight.
Queen takes d5.
Black recaptures with the queen, maintaining central control. This also brings the queen into play, although it may become a target for white's pieces.
Bishop g2.
White completes the kingside fianchetto, putting pressure on the center and queenside. The bishop on g2 eyes both the c6 knight and the b7 pawn.
Bishop e6.
Black develops another piece and protects the queen. This move prepares for queenside castling and provides additional control over the d5 square.
Short castle.
Sarin completes his kingside development and brings his king to safety. This move also connects the rooks, preparing for middle game play.
Queen d7.
Sadhwani moves his queen to a safer square, preparing to castle kingside. This move also maintains protection of the c6 knight and doesn't commit to a specific castling direction yet.
Queen a4.
A multi-purpose move. Sarin applies pressure on the queenside, potentially targeting the a7 and c6 pawns. It also hinders Black's queenside castling plans.
Short castle.
Black completes development by castling kingside. This brings the king to safety and connects the rooks.
Bishop e3.
Sarin develops the light-squared bishop to a flexible square. This move prepares for potential d4 push and provides additional control over the c5 square.
f5.
A bold and committal move by Sadhwani. Black stakes a claim on the king side and prepares for potential attacking chances. However, this move weakens the e6 square and the long diagonal.
Rook ac1.
White increases control over the c-file, putting pressure on the c6 knight. This move also prepares for potential c5 break.
Bishop f6.
Black reinforces the e5 pawn and prepares for potential kingside play. This move also eyes the long diagonal, creating potential pressure on White's kingside.
Rook fd1.
Sarin completes development, controlling the d-file. This move prepares for a potential d4 push and increases pressure on Black's position.
Rook fd8.
Black contests the d-file, creating a semi-open file for his rook. This move also protects the d7 queen and prepares for potential d5 push.
Bishop g5.
An aggressive move by Sarin, increasing pressure on Black's position. This pin on the f6 bishop creates tactical possibilities and hinders Black's kingside play.
Rook a b8.
Sadhwani prepares for queenside counterplay. This move also protects the b7 pawn and eyes the b-file for potential pressure.
Bishop takes f6.
Sarin decides to exchange the strong bishop, eliminating a key defender of Black's kingside. This move also opens the g-file, which could be used for an attack later.
G takes f6.
Black recaptures, opening the g-file but weakening the kingside pawn structure. This recapture maintains control over key central squares but creates long-term weaknesses.
King f1.
A prophylactic move by Sarin, removing the king from the g-file. This prepares for potential kingside play and avoids any checks along the g-file.
King h8.
Sadhwani's king also steps away from the g-file, mirroring White's move. This avoids potential pins along the g-file and prepares for potential rook g8 ideas.
Queen h4.
Sarin shifts the queen to the kingside, targeting Black's weakened pawn structure. This move creates immediate threats and puts pressure on the h7 pawn.
Queen f7.
Sadhwani defends against potential threats along the h4 d8 diagonal and protects the h7 pawn. This move also prepares for potential f4 push.
a3.
Sarin prepares for potential queenside expansion. This move prevents any knight b4 ideas and prepares for b4, b5 push.
Knight d4.
A strong move by Sadhwani. Black centralized the knight, creating threats and contesting white's control. This knight eyes both b3 and f3 squares.
Knight takes d4.
Sarin eliminates the strong centralized knight, simplifying the position. This exchange reduces black's attacking potential.
Rook takes d4.
Black recaptures, maintaining pressure on the d-file. This rook is well placed, controlling the fourth rank and eyeing white's second rank.
Rook takes c7.
A strong move by Sarin, winning a pawn and exploiting black's somewhat overextended position. This rook invasion creates immediate threats.
Queen takes c7.
Black is forced to recapture, maintaining material equality but allowing white to gain tempi.
Queen takes f6 check.
A powerful move by Sarin, forcing black's queen away from defense. This check creates multiple threats and further weakens black's king position.
Queen g7.
Black is forced to block with the queen, moving to an awkward square and potentially hindering coordination.
Queen takes e6.
Sarin wins another pawn, emerging with a significant material advantage. This move also maintains pressure on black's weakened kingside.
Rook f8.
Sadhwani tries to activate the rook and defend against mate threats. This move also eyes the f2 pawn, seeking counterplay.
Rook c1.
Sarin prepares to increase pressure along the c-file, targeting the backward c-pawn. This move also frees the d1 square for the king if needed.
Rook d7.
Sadhwani defends against immediate threats and prepares to contest the c-file. This move also protects the 7th rank from invasion.
Rook c5.
Sarin increases pressure, targeting black's weaknesses. This rook is well placed, eyeing both the a5 and e5 squares.
Rook e7.
Sadhwani defends the e-pawn and prepares to contest the e-file. This move also frees the d7 square for the queen if needed.
Queen c4.
Sarin maintains pressure while protecting the c5 rook. This move creates threats along the c-file and prepares for potential e4 push.
Queen h6.
Sadhwani's queen looks for counterplay, targeting the h2 pawn and creating potential mating threats.
Queen c3.
Sarin protects the second rank and eyes the kingside. This move prevents any back rank mate threats and prepares to support a potential e4 push.
Queen f6.
Sadhwani's queen returns to defend, eyeing both the f2 pawn and supporting a potential e4 push.
f4.
A strong move by Sarin, continuing to press and targeting the e5 pawn. This move opens lines for his pieces and creates potential passed pawn chances.
Rook f e8.
Sadhwani activates the rook, preparing to defend e5 and create counterplay along the e-file.
F takes e5.
Sarin eliminates black's central pawn, creating a passed pawn and opening the position further.
Rook takes e5.
Sadhwani recaptures, activating a rook and contesting the open e-file.
Bishop takes b7.
Sarin wins another pawn, further increasing his material advantage. This move also creates a potential pass pawn on the queen side.
f4.
A desperate attempt by Sadhwani to create counterplay. This pawn push threatens to open lines against white's king.
Bishop f3.
Sarin protects the king and eyes the e4 square. This move prepares to blockade black's pawns and maintains control over key squares.
F takes g3.
Sadhwani creates some threats with the passed pawn, hoping to complicate the position.
H takes g3.
Sarin eliminates the passed pawn, simplifying the position further. This move also opens the h-file for potential attacking chances.
King g7.
Sadhwani's king becomes more active, moving away from potential attacks along the h-file.
Rook takes e5.
Sarin exchanges rooks, simplifying to a winning endgame. This exchange further reduces black's counterplay chances.
Rook takes e5.
Sadhwani is forced to recapture, maintaining some presence on the e-file.
b4.
Sarin creates a passed pawn on the queenside, increasing his winning chances. This move also restricts black's rook mobility.
h5.
Sadhwani pushes for kingside counterplay, creating left for his king and eyeing potential, h for ideas.
a4.
Sarin advances the queenside pawns, creating more passing chances and restricting black's queen.
King h6.
Sadhwani's king becomes more active, supporting the h-pawn and avoiding potential backrank mates.
b5.
Sarin's passed pawn advances, becoming a significant threat. This move forces black to deal with multiple threats.
King g7.
Sadhwani's king retreats, unable to make progress and avoiding potential checks.
Queen d4.
A strong move by Sarin, increasing pressure on black's rook and supporting the passed b-pawn.
Rook g5.
Sadhwani's rook moves to a more active position, targeting the g3 pawn and creating some counterplay chances.
Queen takes a7 check.
Sarin wins another pawn, further increasing his material advantage. This move also forces black's king to an awkward square.
King h6.
Sadhwani's king is forced to an exposed position, becoming vulnerable to potential mating attacks.
Queen e3.
A multi-purpose move by Sarin. It protects against any checks on the first rank, supports the b-pawn's advance, and prepares for a potential kingside attack.
Queen a1 check.
Sadhwani gives a check, looking for perpetual chances or ways to create complications.
King f2.
Sarin's king steps up, avoiding perpetual check and supporting the advance of the b-pawn.
Queen takes a4.
Sadhwani wins back a pawn, but it's too little, too late. The position remains winning for white.
b6.
Sarin's passed pawn advances dangerously, forcing black to deal with imminent queening threats.
h4.
A last-ditch effort by Sadhwani, pushing for kingside counterplay and hoping to create complications.
g4.
Sarin stops black's pawn and threatens to queen his own pawn. This move effectively ends all of black's counterplay chances.
Queen D7.
Sadhwani defends against immediate mate threats, but his position is hopeless.
Queen F4.
A final strong move by Sarin. White threatens mate and the b-pawn is unstoppable. Black has no good moves left. Sadhwani resign here.
Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe.